Welcome, one and all. This is the Peace Dealer, and welcome to another exciting installment of Transit Talk, where I talk about the astrological transits that we are currently experiencing. The cool thing about being a representative of Gemini, the messenger, the true angel, is that we get live current understandings of the experience. That does come with a cost. What we pay in order to be so aware of this 3D realm is not so much being aware of the ultimate bigger picture, or maybe a primary focus and analysis of the details. That's more Sagittarius and Virgo, respectively. But hey, you can't analyze or come up with the meaning without the initial sense of truth. Aries, Taurus, and Gemini. You want to think of that as a three-way team. So, as I speak about this Venus and Scorpio transit, really be mindful of how strongly you've developed your heart. When I was talking about embracing your insecurities, now a transit like Venus here will help you gain new intimacy with yourself to where you can love and embrace your flaws. That's the whole lesson with the whole Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius chapter. Regardless, though, before I really get into this and talk about pure psychic connections, I just still want to remind you, you know what I'm saying? Like, you really have no excuse, or you really have no business being so hard on yourself. If you're watching this broadcast right now, you are a part of one of the most revolutionary periods of all time. Within a span of 30 years, people saw the evolution of communication go from mail to telephones. I mean, not to say that there was just mail like 30 years ago, but we went from telephones to smart phones with Bluetooth, and like in between, so many accelerations. And you have to kind of remember, considering a whole lot of people born before you, there was like an industrial revolution. You know what I'm saying? Don't get it twisted. When the printing press and Gutenberg killed the game, and you could actually like print more books than and not just write it one by one, that changed the whole game. Like, are you serious? Like, what? We can just copy books? Oh no, son. And people got, lit and really just happy, like, wow, this is amazing. Like, we don't have to just handwrite. What was one of the first books that was copied? The Bible. We don't have to handwrite the Bible anymore. Oh my gosh, do you know how many times we've lost the meaning of words because we had to handwrite it over and over? And then there'd be translators who didn't even speak the language that they were copying, so they wouldn't even know what certain words mean, and they lost even more meaning, and then they would have to write over. You mean now we can just actually copy most of those books that by now have already been twisted? This is amazing. And that just changed the game. And then we had, you know what I'm saying, the beginnings of the information revolution where we started having dial-up. I mean, we literally went from like dial-up internet to where you had to hear that. If you were born after 2000, you don't know what I'm talking about. And it wasn't even a thing. You were just so happy that you could even go on the internet. This was before the glorious invention of internet memes. All right, I'm sure it's memes, but this was before the galactic overlords and aliens were like, oh my gosh, humanity doesn't even know. We're about to hit them over the head with internet memes. they're still all going crazy over the phones with no apps. Don't act like you don't know where you were when the flip phone came out. That changed the whole game. What? And you have to understand, like, the people in the 20s got it too. You have to understand, because I was thinking about how revolutions recently, and the reason why I'm talking about revolutions right now is Venus transiting Scorpio, going over Jupiter, is about to really like induce and plant the seeds while also harvesting a very incredible sexual revolution. You have women that are way more open about enforcing their boundaries and speaking up about, you know what I'm saying, sexually sexual harassment and other such issues. You have men speaking out and starting to express their sexuality in different and unique ways. So we're going to really, during this short transit, step into a mini sexual revolution. Sexual revolution, speaking of the revolution you make with your own inner energy, so that you can work out your own sexuality, so that it doesn't feel awkward to for some of you to actually express how you sexually feel, because you're so internal with yourself. It's important to know that over the past 6 months to 6 years, you've been working on this. So don't think this revolution is just going to pop up. This is taking so much. But I mean, we just need to go back on revolutions. This is the word. And when you talk revolution, you talk like Uranus, but Pluto is very much so involved. You know, like after that industrial revolution during the 20s, oh my gosh, you know what I'm saying? After Ford released his chain of cars, yo, don't act like, I mean, that's the only time, even though it was the 20s, like even though the, you know, social themes might not have been that good, that was a dope ass time to incarnate in. When the car just got mass produced in the roaring 20s, people didn't know how to think. The average man back in that time was, are you serious? You mean I can drive away from my family and cheat on my wife and she won't even know? Yo, this was a glorious period for side dudes and side chicks. Changed the whole game. You can go to another town, cheat on your whole partner while your partner is taking care of the family, and then the other people in the town won't even know you. You mean there's no social media? You mean no one's gonna take my picture and then show screenshots to my wifey and no one would know? Boy, you better act like people weren't living the life in the 20s. And then don't think the wife was stupid. Don't think the wife was stupid. The wife's like, my husband's probably out doing some shenaniganery. You mean I can have someone come in, that dude that I've been wanting to do, but my husband has been home the whole time? Yo, the 20s and 30s were lit. And then, of course, you had the Great Depression, which was probably a little bit before and then a smaller period after. But you know what I'm saying? Revolutions. Of course, the advent of social media just really crushed that, because people just really started to put themselves on blast. And we really just kind of have to reach a balance. But the shenaniganery will evolve and get smarter because our technology has. And this is where a transit like Venus entering Scorpio really separates those who are serious about love, maybe, and have integrity, or really just want to use their own sexual power to manipulate situations and people. So back to the point I was making, if you're watching this, you know what I'm saying? Like, you really have no business being hard on yourself. We have this very cute cultural way of motivating people and pushing them to be the best, but it really just regiments people and puts them in a box. You owe it to yourself for still being alive and breathing. And I really need to remind a lot of you, you have nothing to prove to a single person. Honestly, not even to yourself. Like, the fact that you're breathing and expressing your being in a dimension where people are actively fighting against you making free will choices, you're a badass. Maybe you might be really stressing a whole lot about not accomplishing certain things others have, but you need to sit down and like think about how much of that was programmed into your head to feel like you have to achieve, or you won't be respected, or you won't be loved, or you won't be accepted. All of which is a lie and the epitome of bullshit. Don't worry, your parents have been fed this brainwashing. Your parents have been fed this brainwashing. It's great because a lot of people have good intentions for you. And this is where a lot of you get tripped up and fall into the system. You feel like just because people have the best for you, that you think just because people have good intentions for you, they actually know you. And there's this two different things. People's intentions for you can always mask the secret intentions that they want for you, because some people will always want to live vicariously through you. And what you do is a reflection of what they feel. That's why some people get embarrassed for other people. But with all due respect, those people need to learn to mind their own business and stop being control freaks. And we live in a culture that subtly promotes this type of control where we compete against each other instead of look at the positives and actually embrace differences we have. In this culture, anything that's weird, anything that's different, we label weird. And before that person has the opportunity to really express something different, we segment it, put it in a box because we're afraid of what we know we can't manipulate about it. And you know what I'm saying? It's definitely a horrible conundrum that we have on our hands, to where people are now afraid to be themselves because they're so busy worried about the acceptance that they get from others. And it's like, in order to embrace a transit like Venus and Scorpio, where you have to be so pure and true to your heart, the last thing you care about is who thinks you're weird and who thinks you're not. Because Scorpio is quote unquote weird. Scorpio isn't really weird, but have you seen anyone who's a Venus and Scorpio express their real love? They have to hold it back. So many people aren't worthy of their love because they give you that pure love and people are like, oh, that's so weird. How can this person love me this deeply? And it's like, do you even know? And I mean, I'm not going to lie. The thing about Venus and that Scorpio energy, the reason why they say it's in its fall is it could come across very obsessive and compulsive, when actually it could come across really obsessive and compulsive. But in order to kind of give it a fair chance, most times, you know what I'm saying, that purity could be too much. It takes a very strong person to handle Scorpio in the first place. That's why Taurus is opposite that sign. So really just keep in mind, you owe it to yourself to not be so hard on yourself. It's 2017. If you still aren't standing up for who you are before you let anyone else do, you're not going to make it into 2020, when people will wear all sorts of masks just so that they can break the person you are. See, a lot of you feel like just as long as you have what you want, you'll be good. But if you gain the whole world and lose your soul in the process, did you really gain anything? And this is as we go through this Capricorn stellium 3-year transit, something that you really need to ask yourself, because you're going to gain the world through your own integrity and through your own belief in yourself, where Sagittarius is building. And it's only the habits and the character that you have built that will ultimately show the person who you are. These are all themes I need to speak of, because when it comes to a pure psychic connection, we're talking about the transcendence of deception. This pure psychic connection with Venus and Scorpio is going to implement a trine to Neptune in Pisces and Chiron in Pisces. And the psychic connections, some more intense than others, that you have developed are going to become so much stronger. You're really going to start and begin to step into the next 6 years of deeper psychic spiritual experiences. All right. And this is very important to really keep in mind because a lot of you have been very frustrated. See, not everyone experiences psychic connection at the same level. There are 4 elements of psychic connection. You have the earth signs experience psychic connection really. Their 5 senses get linked. All right. When they experience psychic connections with each other, it's more physical. Their bodies are going to mirror each other in tune. And there's a sensual connection that words may not describe the best. Whereas psychic connections for air energy is a mental telepathic union where you're so connected on a mental level, you already know what you're about to say and your thoughts are aligned to where you finish each other's sentences. Now, per element, there's greater tiers and levels, but I'm just giving you the basics because that's what Gemini do. Now, when we talk to fire connections, fire and water psychic connections are the type of connections that you see in the movies. This is what everyone wants, that passionate union, fire where you can just evoke so much fire together. And it's like you see that person and you just feel like instantly ripping each other's clothes off. And it's just a vibrant spiritual connection. And then that water psychic connection is literally just feeling the water psychic connection. If you have water and air or someone, you could literally feel their feelings across a distance. This is what makes it very difficult for earth signs to sense, because especially like if an earth sign just has like water and earth, if they just have like air and earth and they don't necessarily have a lot of water or fire, then if you talk to them, because see there's some water signs and fire signs who have spiritual psychic connections with earth and air. So you start talking to them about, oh, I can feel your energy from across the room. I can feel you so deeply. And they look at you like you're crazy. I don't know what you're talking about. And you have to know the language of how they connect. When it comes to air, they can kind of contextualize how that's possible, but earth is just purely sensual. This is the most critical element for a reason, because we depend on that critique. So they kind of experience the psychic energy the least, unless they have like a water sign moon, then you're kind of, blending both worlds. Whereas it could be really difficult for the fire or water sign to understand the logic that the earth and air sign is trying to instill. So for those of you who have that kind of psychic connection with people, it's important for you to know that this is taking time. And a lot of you, I don't necessarily want to give you the impression that most of your psychic connections are with people far away from you that you don't know. I'm really talking about pure psychic connections in the sense of people who you talk to on a daily basis, and even people who you just connect. The art and the act of connection is ruled by Venus and Mercury on a mental level, but Venus is going to really speak on the feminine expression of how you express your love, or rather lust in some cases. But because Libra has ownership here, how do you present yourself? How do you present your raw persona? And how do you connect? In Scorpio, there are going to be deeper, intimate ways to connect, where now your parents or your children, right, that you've been connecting psychic connections to, because if we think about what a psychic connection really is, it's a connection at an emotional, psychological level, to where your auras are so used to each other. You're so used to trading ideas, over time you develop neural pathways. Just like when you work out and you try and learn a new skill, your body has to memorize it and your brain is starting to create neural pathways. This works spiritually too. Some of you could even take advantage of this while Venus is in Scorpio and start to practice skills like telepathy, or really starting to like blend and share experiences. At first, you may find it's not that hard, that easy, but the key here is consistency. How many people really sit down and are like, hey, let's develop our psychic connection? A lot of people don't even believe it. In fact, we're still at this juvenile level where it's like, I did that this morning. And then I realized how dumb it was. Like, somebody had sent me a text, because I usually have a very strong connection with, say, Capricorns, but that's really more generational, because anyone born 90, 91 is going to have a strong connection with Capricorns. They kind of have that a lot, but it is what it is. I had seen a picture and then I was thinking of this person, and moments later they texted me, and it's like, oh, and I even spoke on it. I was like, oh my gosh, that's awesome. I was about to text you. But it's like, if you think about it, that's really nothing, like, that's not even a big deal. Like, we're reaching the state of consciousness to where stuff like that isn't only naturally assumed, but there's a deeper level to which we can connect and know that wisdom. And this is what Venus in Scorpio is going to slowly teach us. Why? Because Jupiter now in Scorpio is going to evolve our knowledge, and the sun is here too. So now that it's here, a grand nature of this is to really take back your power. And this is called pure psychic connection, but the main portion of this, because when Venus goes into Sagittarius, you're going to be aware of these psychic connections, and there's going to be a magic to which you're going to be able to really express your raw self in an intimate way, where there's no fear, anything that you've been insecure about. This Chiron trine and the Pluto sextile is going to help purify. By Venus 29 degrees of Scorpio, any connections you have with others is purified. And you're going to experience over the next couple of weeks very mystical feelings that you've never really felt, because Venus does represent a portion of your heart, and your heart is going to evolve in the sense of how you deeply express yourself. This is going to evoke emotions within you didn't even know you have. And the way you purify these psychic connections is to curve people who your heart instinctually doesn't want to talk to. Because the first part of this Venus and Scorpio transit is the deception that is going to really, really, really open up profoundly and kind of try and take you by storm. Because a double-edged sword to this energy kind of opening up is, because you're going to be embracing your insecurities, and now your heart's going to be stronger, and your heart's now going to be evoking its own sexiness. This is the cool thing about Venus and Scorpio. If you've been wanting to develop your inner sexiness, Venus and Leo set you up for this a few months back by developing the courage in your heart needed to even express how you feel. Now we're taking it to the next level to where you can actually be the charisma is going to come when it's in Sagittarius. So we're building passion, but this purity we need to build, which develops a whole lot of integrity. Okay. Some of you already have the sexiness. It's an even greater evolution. All right. So what this is going to bring is so much deception. And this is definitely in a sense so that you can test yourself. You're going to see through the deception, but if you're going to allow your morals to be compromised, or the boundaries you have to be compromised, then it's going to only reflect on what your pure intent is. Because Scorpio is pure in the sense where your intent has to be so pure, you're not going to be corrupted by any temptation. That's why it's such an irresistible sign. It helps to build self-control before you enter God consciousness. So when it comes once again to these psychic connections, you want to have trust in the connection and faith in the experience, but you are going to know who's deceiving you. And this is that type of transit where you don't really even have to call it out, because Scorpio likes to assess the situation. Scorpio wants you to kind of fall into your own trap before it finally does the big reveal. And you're going to understand a whole lot. But Venus and Scorpio, unlike its opposite sign in Taurus, which maintains its value, has to learn when to give away their power and when not to. And this Venus in Scorpio is your opportunity to take back the power in your heart. Because I wanted to tell you about what's possible. You can develop a pure psychic connection, especially for those of you who are a little bit ascended, all right, for the rare few of you who are not afraid of what other people feel, and you're more open about your more celestial connections. Those of you who are just telepathically having conversations with people, knowing that their 3D self may not even be aware, but you know their higher self is saying it. It takes courage, to actually embrace that. That's Aquarius, that's Pisces. This is why they get labeled as weird, because they're on a ascended level. This is Sagittarius level. For those of you who have been faithfully doing that, because you have some people who they've been kind of halfway with it. Like they'll talk to this, they'll develop this spiritual ascension talk and actually like embrace their feelings. But then when other people come, they hide it and they're kind of embarrassed. And then you have the ones who've been faithful, who it doesn't matter what other people have said, they have still stayed true. All right. This is the epitome of the 12th house. Think about how the 12th house is the most intuitive. They say it's the house of mental illnesses and prison. All right. But what's after the 11th house of the established collective? The 12th house is next to the first house of the individual, the one who gets exiled for believing their feelings. Feelings is 4th house Cancer. 9th house is belief. What's the 9th house of Cancer? Pisces, the belief in one's feelings, to which it supersedes logic. And other people will think you're loony when you're really just advanced and psychic. And it takes time to develop this, because unlike logic, when you have something that is so irrational at times, you're allowed kind of to color outside the lines. But for those of you who have stayed true, an energy like Venus and Scorpio will now take this connection that you have built through your neural pathways and now start to give specificity, now start to curve it with the logic of Libra and help you gain profound wisdom. It's a transit like this that's going to reveal, hey, you really weren't crazy. Your intuition has been on point more than you've ever known. But the beauty of duality is that as you come to this realization, what you might have envisioned with your ego and how it manifests may be a little different, but the energy you felt will be the same. And of course, how it manifests, it's going to manifest like way better than you think as soon as you release your ego's expectations. So this is really great news. I want you to look at this transit to know you're entering in through victory. We're headed to the finish line, and a lot of you have worked hard through this, even if you weren't conscious of the fact that you've been building psychic connections. This is a transit that really helps you change your mind on how you see, how you connect with others, on how you project intents and vibrations, and how you purify the intent of your vibrations. Because when Mars comes into Scorpio, there's going to be a lot of death and battle, as right now we're really taking back power for our hearts. And the dark side of this now in order to purify these psychic connections, some of you have psychic connections with people who take advantage of that connection and drain your energy. Some of these people can even be soulmates or the notorious twin flames. I don't believe in dark twins, but it could seem that way. And sometimes when people take advantage of your psychic connection, it's not always them. Sometimes they have destructive tendencies that they hurt themselves with. And so their own self-sabotage is now affecting you because they're psychically connected to you. And the entities they allow to attach to themselves can now take advantage and drain you. This is why the first part of this psychic pure connection purification has much to do with taking your power back. A whole lot. What this Venus in Scorpio is going to do is attune your heart to a desire that is so deep. So some of you may feel like you're losing yourself and you're being very obsessive compulsive over certain things you love, and you need to let your heart do this. I'm not necessarily saying that you need to let your heart take control of you, but you need to allow your heart the opportunity to feel this depth as you watch and detach from any expectations. The trine Neptune is going to make to Pisces will give you the profound opportunity to spiritually explore this. And if you try and color inside the lines too much, you're going to miss the point. There's no Virgo, there's no Gemini. If there's Virgo and there's Gemini, I would say take all that passion and depth that Pisces will bring and color inside the lines, because we actually have concrete structures to do so. But that's not even the point. Some of you are literally trying to make normal stuff that's not meant to be normal. And you can't put God in a box, and you cannot try and dictate how things are supposed to play out. That's the dumbest crap ever. And you just waste your time when your heart, that little inner child, knows what to do. A child does not try and intellectualize how to have fun. It's just so in the moment. It's going to feel those feelings. You have to generate this energy so that when it goes into Capricorn, all that energy you generated through Scorpio and Sagittarius, you now begin to organize. But a lot of people are immature. They can't let go of that control. They still haven't got how love is unconditional, because they're inherently selfish. And if they don't get anything out of it, they're just going to be resentful. When you have to remember, nothing about love is easy. So the whole illusion of having this happily ever after where everything's kumbaya is not going to work without work. That's why the earth signs teach us, if you want success, you have to work hard for it. But the earth signs teach you it's not about working hard, it's about working smart. And you can work smart by taking advantage of the emotional currents that are going on. So Venus in Scorpio is going to really evoke very deep desire so you can build self-control. This does not mean that you're going to be having delusional feelings towards people. Pay attention to the recurring signs that you keep seeing. You don't have to understand it, but pay attention to the signs you see and the feelings that you feel. You don't even have to do anything with it. We don't have any Aries. We don't have any Cancer. We don't have any Libra anymore, other than Mars. We just have Pluto and Capricorn. So what this is really effectively saying is to just sit with the energy. And as you feel that and experience it, Pisces is the experience of feelings, and Scorpio is the wisdom of feelings. That's why Cancer is such a big deal. Cancer are the actual feelings themselves. Yeah, I can be the peace dealer, but where do I come from? How do I really feel inside? Because that's what's going to animate me. That's what's going to actually give me life so that I can be real with y'all and actually empathize. But it's one thing to have feelings and emotions. How do I understand those feelings and emotions? If I have the feeling of anger, that's an energy. Scorpio now is going to break down the wisdom of that anger so that it could express how I am feeling angry based on the connections and the karma that I've made to, as a cause and effect, attach this. And then Pisces is the experience of that anger, what it actually feels like. Pisces is music, right? Music are what emotions sound like. A sound is an experience of your senses, and the experience of your feelings is going to tell you why you feel a certain way. And this is why these two signs get so misunderstood, because earth and air tries to rationalize what they are saying, when water can be very rational, but when they channel water, there's nothing rational about it. And there's a wisdom to water that exposes that which is being hidden, but needs faith and trust, because so many people can manipulate with this knowledge. Okay. A god or a spirit cannot be analyzed. That's the whole point. You can analyze things that they do, but the whole point of a spirit being in a body is to really ground and make real a lot of the manifestations. Um, if God could be analyzed, you would actually see a physical representation of this individual. But what we try and do is we take this higher energy and we try and put it in a box and make it our own, and hyper focus on an outcome when we're supposed to look at all the big possibilities. So embrace the synchronicities you're seeing. You're going to gain deep wisdom about this. And Scorpio is all about trust, to where you don't even have to say any words. You just have to kind of internally understand. And you won't get this understanding overnight, but this understanding is going to very powerfully really help you gain a deeper level of emotional depth to how you even communicate with people. This Venus entering Scorpio transit is going to take interactions you have with others and have you notice certain things about what they're going through, because the empathy you have is having this kind of pick up. For those of you who aren't as emotionally sensitive, you're going to start to experience certain spikes in awareness that may be temporary until the transit's over. But outside of very experienced psychic, energetic individuals who feel this on a daily basis, like Pisces or Scorpio moons or suns, you're going to really start to incorporate. And see, Scorpio doesn't always have to be experienced in feelings. It's just going to be a deeper psychological understanding of wisdom, seeing how what people do, you're able to analyze in a sense where you're not taking into account too many details, but what you feel. And in relation to the signs you see, everyone's seeing synchronicities. Some people are just closing their eyes to it. And you can close your eyes to it, but when all this energy moves into Sagittarius and it comes to your face, you want to be prepared, because you have the wisdom that Scorpio secretly taught you. There are internal realizations that you're going to make, and the pure psychic connection is going to, after you take back your power and really, focus more on how to build up this lower chakra energy and raise it high while also funneling it down, you're going to see how a lot more people come to see you and come to drain your energy. And this is where you could take a lot of that power back. And then, of course, really cultivate the connections you have with other people. So, other than that, because we have this Neptune Venus trine, you really have to trust in the connections that you have and have faith in the experience. Some of you are with partners that you are starting to experience facets of their subconscious or their superconscious, maybe without them knowing, and they may be doing it to you as well. and you really want to embrace and trust in the connection because it's not all out in the open. 2019, when Jupiter's in Sagittarius and Saturn and Pluto are deeper into Capricorn, you're really going to start to see a greater purpose of this. Some of you have literally have been trying to rush a relationship that's supposed to last a lifetime. So you're wondering why there's all these challenges, and yet you and this person aren't even individually in a place to where you can go to the next level of this relationship. But every time you want confirmation, there's always a sign that shows you this is someone who's significant in your life. It's your ego, all right? And it's your Mercury that's ruled by Gemini and Virgo that wants details. How is this going to? When is it going to? What's going to happen? And that's not even really anything you need to concern yourself with, because most of you aren't even in a position to do anything about it. Even those of you in existing relationships with psychic connections you have, as it's more with that. The issue with that is, why can't I break through in my connection with this person? Why is there still a block? It's not that there's a block. Both of you have been building construction over the past 6 years. Imagine that your soul was at a certain level. We had Saturn and Scorpio, which put the drill hammer and put you through intense experiences so that the capacity that you could feel deep experiences went so much deeper. You are so much deeper than you were in 2012. You have so much more depth to your soul because you went through painful experiences to literally open up the capacity of death. And now Jupiter is here and it's filling in that abundance to where you could feel deeper now. See, Jupiter, all that stuff that Saturn broke you, Jupiter is now pouring the cement, not even pouring cement, filling you with abundance. And now your cup was maybe like this. Now your cup is this much. So because you spent so much time working on yourselves, now you're going to find that you could, when you kiss your partner, it feels so much deeper. You don't necessarily even have to say certain things to people you want to call, because these occurrences happen not only so much more. The wisdom that Scorpio is going to bring is that you're also going to gain understanding of what lessons. Now, understanding why is more Piscean, but you're now going to understand, oh, I can see how this kind of connection is developing and transforming my heart. And in a lot of ways, this pure psychic connection is going to instill drama and chaos, because what squares Scorpio? Leo. And what's next to Scorpio? Sagittarius. So you're going to find that a lot of this may initially spur drama and chaos so that the fire that erupts could immediately be dealt with. And once again, these psychic connections are not necessarily exclusive to romantic partners. You're going to find the average person has the average person has psychic connections with over, or on average, at least like 15 or more people. Actually, I want to say up to 30. It's just when we now look at the power between the psychic connections, most people's psychic connections are really low because we haven't necessarily developed deep intimacy with each other. Not everyone is a Scorpio or a Pisces or a water sign dominant. So now you're going to find the closest relationships in your life because you've spent the most time. I mean, there's some people who you haven't spent any time with, but you had strong past life energy or you have great synastry and the connection is already there. So these are going to come up too, who are relevant and on your life path. And it's just important to really establish this new depth. The depth is being poured and you're establishing it now for the first time. And this is what's going to lead to this mini sex revolution. And when I say mini sex revolution, it's not even going to involve any sexual intercourse. This sex revolution is not going to, the sex is going to come after when we get into the Sagittarius energy, but this mini sex revolution is taking back your power and drawing your boundaries to where you do not let your own sexual lust rule your body, and you can feel as aroused as you want, but you make the decision. You don't let yourself get run by your root chakra or your sacral chakra. And this is something that people are going to make greater realizations through this transit. It's not like they didn't know, but it's definitely going to be powerful. One thing that's important to note is that a lot of people confuse Scorpio with Pisces. A lot of what people say Pisces is actually Scorpio. And a lot of what people confuse for Scorpio is actually Pisces. When Scorpio and Pluto has its grounds in the underworld, so there is a dark side to Scorpio, but Scorpio is really pure. Scorpio is going to be the ashram that you go to that they cut off their genitals because they don't even want that to get in the way of the control, and they have sexual mastery that they harness. If you're going to talk about witchcraft and black magic and like all that dark Halloween stuff, that's actually Pisces. All right. When you talk about spirituality and the positive side of it, the dark side of spirituality has its roots in Pisces. This is the expression of that comes from Scorpio. And, there's a light side to Pisces. This is true divinity, which is gained from the purity of Scorpio. But I've kind of noticed how people get this flipped because death is not really passing on, as we say with Scorpio. Scorpio is going to be the passing on into the next realm, indicated from Sagittarius to Pisces, but you are reborn and your energy never dies. The true death is Pisces, the 12th house, because death represents the end, and Pisces is the end before the new beginning at Aries. So really keep this in mind, because is Pisces really even death? Do you really even die at the end, or do you just begin something new? Which is something very important to keep in mind when we talk about transmutation and life. Death, if anything, is pure life, to where you now have to alchemize your whole being and you can't take anything with you that is impure, even if it's your body. So regardless, after this mini sex revolution that's going to incorporate deeper self-control with your sexuality, to where you look these succubi and incubi in the face and you don't let them control you, and you exert your sexual control. This is going to bring back power when instead of giving away your sexual energy for lustful pleasure, which you can do in moderation. No one is telling you to go cold turkey. Sometimes you gotta release, especially on full moons. But you're going to find, as you start to build this power, Scorpio and fixed signs are all about building energy. Tantra Tao, like, you're going to really feel this energy build. And as you feel this energy build, all right, for those of you, no one's really saying you even have to be celibate. To those of you who are celibate, this is going to be a great transit. But for those of you who kind of keep that energy to yourselves, as it slowly builds, you're going to see a lot of people start to attract to you. And this is going to tempt whether you can handle that energy or not. And this is what's going to build to this sexuality and intimacy upgrade, to where the way you express this is more fearless, because there is a darker side to this. A lot of people from the older, if you're Pluto and Scorpio, you're the one who's going to be like spearheading this. Because a lot of people from the older generation, especially the Pluto Leo, they don't embrace what we're here to do. Like, there's a greater, all these people that you see hypersexualizing a lot more of sexuality. I have spoken in a conservative sense about how it's not being used right, but there's a need for it. All right. So that whole trend that you see Pluto Scorpio and Pluto Sagittarius taking on is actually very necessary. And it's really being fearless in the self-expression of one's body, even in very lusty ways, so that it can sharpen the intent of other people. Of course, once again, in moderation, if it's used in a way to really like tempt people, which obviously now has more to do with the self-control someone instills, it's one thing. But there's a lot of sexual shame that you could be faced with because you might decide to wear less clothes during this transit. You might decide to really be a lot more intimate with yourself. And you need to embrace that and take your power back. And no matter who tries to shame, if anyone tries to shame you, it's literally a reflection of their own insecurity because they don't feel as sexy within themselves. That has always been the basis of judgment. You have to understand some people are just salty. Like they're very, very, very conservative and they're not, they judge everything and everyone. So you really need to be mindful of the stuff that they've been programmed with. We're entering a time where you're going to see a whole lot more people very comfortable with being naked, with actually showing a lot more skin because it's freeing and not because they have any ulterior motives. This is the purification of this energy. If you even think of Adam and Eve, who it wasn't until after they ate that fruit that they felt ashamed of their nakedness. But before that, there was literally nothing wrong. They had pure intent. They didn't have any intent to do anything, kind of like babies. So really keep this in mind. For those of you who feel that pressure, just know you're revolutionizing how people express, and you really don't have to. You'll see this culturally too, so in good and bad ways. All right. So you really want to trust your heart's wisdom as this pure love evolution with Jupiter's conjunction to Venus while it's trining Neptune. It doesn't get any better than this. Some of you are going to break through. All right. Trust me, before Saturn was in Scorpio, you may have been in positions where you couldn't talk to that person that you have deep, intense feelings to because you would just be shaking. But now it's going to be like, so what? In fact, you're going to have the opportunity to surprise yourself with how sexual. See, Scorpio is at root sexual. So people try and sugarcoat it because, you know what I'm saying? But we just have to keep it real. And you're going to be able to surprise yourself here. And a lot of you are going to feel that voice. A lot of you are going to feel that energy that has you wondering, is it okay for me to express this? Because you remember how it's been repressed, how it's been suppressed. It's King Kungsing, Uranus and Aries. So there's a raw nature to this. And thankfully with Mars and Libra, you can express a little charm in the way you intellectually do so. But this is about surprising yourself and showing yourself that you can have that strength of purity to know that you can be around someone and they can trust that you're not going to take advantage of them sexually. That's the main goal of Venus entering Scorpio. As Scorpio represents the trust that you can give somebody to where you can take your clothes off and be completely vulnerable with them and you don't feel insecure. That's Scorpio. And this doesn't even have to happen literally because some people can see through your soul and energy and you could feel naked to them energetically. And this is going to be the same theme to where you have to be so in tune with yourself. You have to accept yourself so much to where you love and embrace your insecurities that you're willing to slowly change, that nothing gets in the way of you expressing your heart fearlessly. All right. So with that being said, before I go to the Peace Mobile and break down these transits and how to really cope, I want to really express more the importance of Neptune's influence here. Neptune in Pisces is still outside this matrix as the veil, letting you know there is way more to life than this real world. And you have to understand there are some agents in this matrix whose literal job is to keep you here in 3D. these people also know the secrets of the matrix. So they're going to know how to speak in a spiritual way to make you feel like they have your best interests at heart, but ultimately they want to subtly and slowly, all right, bring you back. Do you know who rules this energy? Libra rules this energy. And Libra is having this dilemma right now with the square to Pluto. And one thing I want to tell you is I made a mistake. I said that angels are Libra and Virgo, but that's a lie. Angels are Gemini. Virgos are more alchemists and they're earth angels. Geminis are the true angels from the sky because the word angel means messenger. All right. Libra is an agent. All right. An agent is someone who represents a greater organization. That is the opposite of Aries, which only represents themselves. And Libra is starting to realize, holy crap, that the agency that I'm working for, Capricorn, right? And Aquarius, do they have integrity? Am I doing the right thing, trying to bring people back to 3D logic? All right. You have angels who are trying to fight. You have agents that are trying to fight against that. You have agents that are completely down with the brainwashing. And what does Libra square? What does Libra quincunx? Pisces. All right. So that's why Neptune is not going to in your face with Scorpio say, hey, that person's an agent. Neptune is going to show you a synchronicity. Neptune is going to give you a telepathic thought and teach you to speak internally. This is why Scorpio and Gemini clash so much, because Gemini's whole deal with Capricorn and Scorpio is, why don't you guys talk about this psychic insight? And then Scorpio is like, there's some things that you can't talk about because the walls have ears. There's some things you can't say because they're entities that can hear, but they're not. Scorpio's not going to tell you that. You just have to be wise enough to know. Pisces gets it, and this is how they work around that agentry. So this is a lot of politics here. All right. So really keep this in mind. You're going to have people who subtly try and draw you away from the influence of Neptune, because if you don't balance Neptune's energy out, you might be in a position to where you can be too far gone. And for some of you, that's what you want. But for those of you who want to achieve a balance, this is why Libra balances both of the worlds, right? You have to still incorporate a lot of Neptune's energy so that you can build imagination, so that you can have more colors into the picture you're painting, and you are going to experience. Now, what is the fifth house of Venus? Pisces. What is the fifth house of Scorpio? Pisces. Okay. Neptune is 5 houses away from Venus, which is a connection of creativity and love. And you're going to develop new ways to psychically connect with people on a heart level. And you have to trust your heart's wisdom, and you need to trust in a connection, because having faith in this experience means you're not going to know. And when it comes to knowledge, we have Aquarius. Scorpio is literally that sign, and Pisces, to where you have a question mark, because this teaches us in life that there are some things that are not meant to be known. And this is where we can go crazy trying to make predictions with transits. See, I can channel a prediction. I can channel a forecast. When a weatherman makes a forecast, you don't be like, if it didn't rain, you might be like, well, the weatherman was wrong, but you don't really go so hard on the weatherman because it's a forecast. It's not like it's a prediction. Astrology works the same way. You have some frauds who, sometimes I'll say I do predictions, but that's because that's the vocabulary. If you were to ask me what I really doing, I'm going to say I'm giving you a star forecast, because energy is mutable. And if a weather forecast person is accurate most of the times, and sometimes they're wrong, we give them that leeway. If someone who does astrology forecasts isn't 100% right, we kind of throw them under the bus. Now, and if they're saying they have accurate predictions, then they held them up to them standards. But you have to understand, like, when you deal with Pisces energy and water energy, people who are so fixed with earth and air really believe that everything in life is structurally like appointed some detail. And then they need to go to an ocean and see that water does not flow linearly. So there's literally certain things in this life that you're going to like not understand. And that's what Pisces is about. You need to have faith in that unknown. Some people can see into that unknown. We call them psychics. Not everyone's a psychic. And you might have to have trust in certain things that are deep inside your subconscious that you can't access on a mental level, like Gemini. And you just have to trust. Okay. Avery Crane, those agents are real. It's ruled by Libra. It's a mental telepathic vibration that can project on a higher realm. So I mean, it is what it is. They've been trying to interfere me for a while, but I had to talk to Saturn, their boss. So anyway, I'm going to after we do the Peace Mobile breakdown and before I do the cards for everyone, we're going to do a technique that you can use to facilitate, and you can use any time. It's my gift to you. All right. But before we do that, it's important to talk about Neptune, because Neptune's influence during this transit will really help you know how in tune you are to this other spiritual realm and how that plays into what you're really experiencing here. It's going to really key you into mind to how you take these sensitivities to the vibrations you experience and tie them into the wisdom of love that is birthing. The next couple of months is all about taking things in and really coming into an understanding instead of trying to, figure everything out. So what this is going to entail is really deep surrender. All right. You still want to balance this by keeping the control and power here, because you can get obsessive compulsive and you can just try and go on this spiritual adventure that you don't really have to, because the spiritual adventure is just really staying focused in your energy and watching things happen around you. All right. So with that being said, it's also, I want to even encourage you more to get this Neptune webinar. I have the link in the description box below. Really understanding where Neptune is in your chart, once again, is going to really help you understand how you access this quantum realm. People who were born in the Neptune and Sagittarius generation paved the way from the Neptune Scorpio to Neptune and Capricorn as we build this psychic energy through our collective conscious psychic connections. The Neptune and Sagittarius vibration allows people with this energy to literally see into the divine. They get visions, because Sagittarius is all about sight, and Sagittarius is all about the future, and the future is Aquarius. People who have Neptune and Uranus in Aquarius, they're channeling from the future. Like, they know what's going to happen. That's why they have that inner knowing. But the sight and experience of that is Sagittarius. They're going to have visions. They're going to have dreams, will be in Pisces, but they're going to see energies. They're going to see into the meaning psychically into things. And when you have an energy like this in the fifth house, this is going to influence very amazingly how you creatively express yourself, to where you can evoke your heart in mystical ways that incorporate the vision you see, especially if it's like, aspecting Aquarius, to where your writing is influenced by this, as opposed to Neptune and Capricorn. That generation now, instead of really seeing things, is attuned to their body, to where now their five senses and the actions they take are intuitively guided by the unseen energy that they, on a parallel level, engage with, especially since it's now at its peak in Capricorn. An energy like this in your first house is going to have you identify very powerfully with this, to where you're dissolving facets of your ego to now channel higher frequency beings through your body. Whereas the Sag person will see visions, the Cap person can be a bit of a medium in a Cancer way, where their body moves on its own because it's reacting to the energy. All right. And of course, once you ascend higher, you get even higher abilities. But of course, you joining the webinar will allow you to know your own personal Neptune and how it works in your chart. We're going to go over synastry as well, so you understand how it will influence others if they have personal planets on yours or yours on theirs, especially for those of you who have Sun Neptune contacts or Moon Neptune contacts. This is why I appreciate Capricorns personally. People who have their Sun on my Neptune, it's giving power to my psychic energy. So if I just have their picture out, because their Sun's on my Neptune, I'm going to be more psychic. These are practical ways you can use this, as their energetic aura is going to now amplify my psychic channel, or if they're physically there with you as well. Whereas a moon in Neptune will now make one a vessel to this psychic energy, to where if someone has their moon on your Neptune, they could literally just like feel and channel what's really in your mind, and like kind of intuitively help you understand your own intuition. So yeah, this is going to be one of the cooler webinars that I do. There's the mystically stranger ones, and at the end, before the Q&A, we're going to, of course, do a small initiation to activate and accept Neptune into your life. Christ consciousness. Sounds like Jesus, huh? And someone asked, is there a way to transcend astrology altogether where placements won't mean shit anymore? That doesn't necessarily make sense, because astrology is transcendence. The reason why the placements actually mean anything is because it's telling the story of our grand evolution and progress. The transits don't dictate your life. The transits are the story of your life, to how you utilize these energies to be better. So if you exist, that's why we can even perceive astrology. It's as ingrained as your body. So really keep this in mind. It is a bit of a tool, but it's not so much of a belief to where you can just like stop using it. Because like a lot of people feel like can transcend astrology, and it's just like, well, if I stop thinking about it, if I ascend above that level, it won't affect me. No, my friend, it still does affect you very much so, because every single part of your being is connected with everything else, which is what astrology seeks to remind people. So anyway, other than that, I also have in the link to the description below my love readings. For those of you who have been taking my or ordering my recorded or live love readings, I still have that available. And every reading that I have, I still have the half off code with wisdom. All right. So with the love readings, what we're going to do is I'm going to really, if you order during this period and even after, I'm going to be able to focus a whole lot on this Venus and Scorpio transit and help you really gain an understanding of how to develop more pure psychic connections yourself. We'll look at your Venus placement, and then we'll look at where Venus is now. So let's say you have a Venus in Virgo and I'm doing your love reading. Then we know that this pure psychic connection transit has all to do with expressing your true feelings through your heart, not in a moon sense, but really taking risks to express your ideals and attitudes in relationships. Because of the details and the standards you hold, this is going to express within a certain vibration, as opposed to a Venus in Aries, to where they're going to have to learn to control a lot of their passion and really transform a whole lot of the ego that comes in love, so that they can develop deeper intimacy, as trust will be a huge lesson to them. All right. The love reading link description is below if you want to check out the details, which will answer your questions. And if you use the code wisdom, you will get half off. In the love reading, I also pull tarot cards and oracle cards. So if you have any specific questions about anyone you're interested in, you can include those in the notes. And definitely also encourage you to get the 20-minute readings or live readings if you still use the code Ascension Talk, or even Pure Psychic Connection. We'll speak deeper into these themes. Hope to see you soon. And let's now hop into the Peace Mobile. So Venus on Jupiter right now is just so much of a big deal because our hearts are evolving, and you really want to look to this trine that Neptune is making to develop an even deeper connection with the divine, trickling down through the experiences you have with other fellow human beings. So, as this conjuncts initially, and we're slowly seeing this, I like the 7-degree conjunction that's going to really fully flesh out very incredibly this energy. Um, I'm now going to look at the inside degrees. And we're going to look up Scorpio. And the degree for Scorpio 7 is a small cave located high in the hills and filled with goat dung. Tumultuous change, hanging on to previous ideas. Tumultuous change, hanging on to previous identities, ego fragments, and the shrapnel of personal illusion. Oops. You are plunged into a karmic process that exposes what is real and what is not. Yet harbor such intense old places inside that it takes massive overhaul to get anywhere, forcing yourself up a brutally harsh karmic path of exceedingly rough process. But this is what it takes when you have built up in reserve so much retrogressive stuff that you must be enveloped by it in order to uncover a way to be yourself again. Without all these barnacles and burdens, fierce shadow world, under dearest, personal and collective, tremendously powerful, treacherous and rewarding, not for the faint-hearted. And this is aquaorfire.net, but you can type in Inside Degrees by Elias Lonsdale in Google. So back to the chart, the significance of this 7th degree is that 7 is the number of Pisces in the step astrology sense of I sense. And you're going to find that on the 12th, there's a bit of a zap. It's like you're going to feel a zzz, and you're going to really start to, this will be one of the most intuitive days of this transit, and really trust fully the intuitions that you gain, as it's going to induce a new cycle over the next few years, all right, of how you can bring out this greater strength for yourself. Keep this in mind as Venus now begins to fully trine Neptune. All right. It's not a coincidence that when Venus is trining Neptune perfectly, the moon catches up in Scorpio for this new moon. So during this new moon phase with Venus here, you really want to be mindful of what you intend to connect as. During this period, you want to ask yourself, what is this connection of purity? What is the purest psychic connection you have feel like? And as you hold this vibration in within for yourself, this is what's going to open up the possibility for you to hold this in your aura. Keep this in mind now, as Venus will be sextiling Pluto. But one of the first checkpoints we have on the 21st is the square to the nodes. And Venus squaring the nodes is going to really have you make a decision towards how deeply you really stand for what you feel, and the boundaries that you're willing to hold down and enforce so that you don't have people draining your power. You may, during this period, have an opportunity to be in a relationship with somebody or connect with somebody who kind of gives you a bit of what you want, but doesn't honor who you really are. And you'll have to choose over comfort or holding out for what you really want. So, this is not the right time to settle. And you might have the opportunity to. And as Venus now slowly begins to trine Chiron, you can gain great healing the more trust that you have in these connections. Once again, it's no coincidence that when the moon is on Chiron, it'll be trining. And these such points really help us to dig as deep as we can. It's all about digging as deep as we can. I would have liked during this transit maybe for another Cancer grand trine, but we did have that in the beginning. And you can really see quite profoundly how this short transit will sync up with Mercury before it retrogrades, so that we're just in the greatest, we just have the greatest ability to, once again, very profoundly not only strut our stuff, but build the confidence we have in ourselves so that we can show ourselves that deep intimacy is something that brings out more of who we are, secrets about who we are, and you can fully expect this transit to show you parts about how you love that you didn't even know you have due to how you react to certain stimuli, or rather respond. So that being said, before I draw the cards and close out this broadcast, I would like to teach you an ascended love technique. So I'd like to teach you this technique, and it's called ascended love. And this is a technique that's going to come into great focus Venus and Sagittarius, because Venus and Sagittarius is ascended love. If Gemini is enlightenment, then Sagittarius is ascension. You have enlightened love in Gemini, you have perfect love in Virgo, you have ascended love in Sagittarius, and divine love in Pisces. So we're going to spend this Venus and Scorpio transit building the awareness of our ascended love to where you focus this love in your heart. When you feel a whole bunch of passion and desire, we feel called to give our power away. It's very hard not to hold it back. What you're going to do is incorporate your imagination, Neptune and Pisces, and your own energy, the fixed signs, to keep that power within you and build up your energy. Abraham Hicks had mentioned in a video that one of the best ways to prepare for your soulmate is, and you can do this right now, right? Put your hands on your heart and really feel a connection to someone that you have that makes you happy. Even if you've met them or not met, even if you haven't met them, imagine you met the love of your life. Imagine you met your soulmate, or imagine you're in your dream job, or imagine you had the greatest burger ever. How do you feel? All right. What are the feelings that you have when this person does what they do to actually kind of have you feel that bliss? All right. Keep focusing on those emotions. And as you literally charge yourself up, you're charging your auric field to feel these feelings. And so instead of waiting for this partner to come here and make you smile and feel all this love, you want to keep feeling this, because what's going to happen is you're going to have this in your energy, and the vibrational match is going to come to you. You're going to come to each other, really. And the person who or situation or circumstance that is going to help you feel these feelings is going to literally manifest. And a transit like this is going to manifest quick, but it's going to require self-control. It's going to manifest quick because of the Mercury in Sagittarius, especially as it goes into Venus in Sagittarius. What happens is that we get so focused and we attract this, and then they come, and then we instantly start chasing that person. And it's like, oh, I don't want to lose you. And you give all that energy to them, and then you don't have that vibration anymore. And then they run the hell away from you. So even as this person comes, you still need to vibe with that energy and stand in your power as they stand in their power. Because it's not only just going to attract that match, it's also going to attract people who suck, who want to take this power from you. And as you stand in your strength, this is going to be an amazing transit because you're going to understand you're more powerful and strong than you even knew. So to start, take diaphragmatic breaths and breathe deep down your chest. Feel that energy going very down your vessel, very down. Feel that energy going down your vessel. And put your hand on your heart. And what I want you to do is shroud yourself in a purple bubble. Feel that scorpionic purple bubble. Now, the power of imagination that a lot of realists and people who are too logical will never accept is that it's real. This is how you activate your magic. And I think I'm giving away too much secrets, but if thoughts become things, your imagination carries with it a certain vibration and frequency at an atomic microscopic level, which is what's clutch about it, because you don't necessarily, it's going to take more focus before you see anything physical, but spend some time in your imagination. This purple bubble that you're going to put around your field, now start to feel those feelings. Start to feel that deep, intimate connection. Whatever. For some of you, this deep, intimate connection could feel passionate. For some, it's grounded. For some, it's very emotional. So start to feel this. And as you feel this, feel that purple bubble get stronger. Feel the feelings just go to that purple bubble. Okay. So I want you to spend time doing this. And as you do this, and as you just kind of feel and charge this up, I'm only for those of you who are serious, because some of you might not really get this, but for those of you who are serious, really feel this charge up. And I'm going to pull the cards for each of the 10 signs at 12 signs. After I'm done pulling the cards, we will finish this ritual. All right. Or really, it's just a technique. It's not so much a ritual. Even if all you can do is just envision the purple bubble around you, then you can do that as well. So for Aries, Venus entering your 8th house, Aries rising, Aries moon, Venus entering your 8th house is going to very powerfully help you develop the right trust and simultaneously discernment. And you're going to find, in order to really break through to that deeper level, you have to open up about certain parts of yourself you may not be the most comfortable and sharing. Vulnerability with the right people will help you gain the depth and intimacy your heart deserves. So we do have the Page of Cups, and the Page of Cups is talking about a new emotional situation, whether with someone you've been with or someone new, as the Page of Cups can indicate a message from someone who's really feeling you. But the Page of Cups is also saying, if you find yourself like irrationally, emotionally into someone, and it's like, oh my gosh, I'm infatuated. You want to let yourself be infatuated because you're ready for love. It's okay for you to feel these things. Have some self-control, but don't try and suppress it, and embrace it. All right. Taurus rising, Taurus moon, Venus entering your 7th house. For those of you who are single, is going to start to bring the awareness of potential partnerships that can be had. And you may really find some positivity when it comes to fresh relationships, building. But for those in existing relationships, this is your opportunity to build deeper intimacy through your ability to show up in these connections and give more of yourself than you already do. The work will definitely pay off. And the tarot card that I have for you, Taurus, is the Seven of Cups. The Seven of Cups is speaking of the creative visualization and altered states that will have you see through different facets of certain people you deal with. When it comes to deception, Taurus, remember that all that glitters isn't gold, and all that people appear to be aren't at all, which you'll definitely see through. But as you're in this fog, don't make any definitive decisions. Just allow yourself to experience it, and let all this creative visualization help you understand more of what you want. All right. Gemini rising, Gemini moon. The Venus in your sixth house is going to encourage you to develop greater and more rare techniques to not only stoke your sexual energy, but also to incorporate how your own routine can balance with other people that you want to connect with. Okay. You're going to find that you have to kind of shed certain habits so that you can gain a greater depth of intimacy with the work you do. So for those of you who've been wanting to fall in love with what you do, this is a great transit to build that. All right. And Gemini, we have the Strength card. So this is talking about internal strength being gained, but I sense this as an influence or an actual person who's going to really light that fire under your butt so that you can have the passion needed to develop this as well. Cancer moon, Cancer rising. Venus is going to really encourage you to creatively express these deep feelings in profound, powerful ways that will kind of take any vulnerabilities you have and make you very popular for sharing. All right. But regardless, you definitely want to open up to newer ways of developing these talents that birth. And when it comes to romantic opportunities, Venus will definitely add her charm and influence so that you learn proper lessons as you develop pure psychic connection. So this is definitely a great period to embrace all of this. And with the Hermit card, you are really in a position to very profoundly gain divine wisdom in the way you experience this because of your own internal realizations, to where you're going to have a greater knowledge over what's happening emotionally, and you can keep most of this to yourself. But this is also saying that most of this pure psychic connection is going to happen completely secret, where that's the power. Like the psychic connection you have with these people, it's just between you and them, which strengthens that. Okay. So Leo moon, Leo rising, Venus entering Scorpio for you is going to really help you gain a private sense of comfort and attract people who are close to you and develop relationships with people who are personal to you that can really help you personally at a very intimate level understand your soul and yourself. Venus will take these secret dramas and gloss them over with and sprinkle them with beauty so that you're able to see them in a different light and embrace them more deeply. We do have the sun. So such a deep exploration is going to bring with it, once it goes out into your fifth house, great happiness and great clarity. So enjoy the enlightenment that comes with such. Virgo moon, Virgo rising. Venus is going to really develop greatly the ideas that you speak on, because there's going to be a greater exuberance of how you psychoanalyze the minds of others, but also how you express yourself sexually. Venus will encourage you to, with a lot of ideas with sexual innuendo as well, so that there's a more intimate way in the way you think and talk, which will translate greatly into how you move. So this is going to be a great time to write about certain private, deep things that could show you more how you kind of express this on a mental level. And with the Page of Cups, we do have a message for you too. This could be someone finally opening up to their feelings about you. But Virgo, it's also encouraging you, if there's anyone that you really feel feelings for like this, to express them, because you will have the wisdom to know what to say and how to say. And this could actually work well in your favor. Libra, Libra moon, Libra rising, Venus is going to really help remind you the wisdom of your value and how you don't necessarily want to give it away too easily. Not to say that most of you do, but this is going to be a great ability to take whatever work you're doing and add finesse and charm to it so that it's more desirable and it's more valuable. So, really enjoy any gifts that you're given as a result. And just like Leo, we have the sun. The sun card is definitely talking about you gaining a lot of clarity and enlightenment. Things that might have been in the dark about what you're really worth will come into the open as you're given credit for important things, and you have just greater reason to be happy. Scorpio, Scorpio moon, Scorpio risings. Venus is just going to really bring back the charm for you before Mars comes in and adds the sexiness that is really with Libra right now. But Venus is just going to add so much beauty to your appearance and to your power. And you want to imbue this love and know that you are the source of this right now. So people are going to be more pleasant around you. People are going to be more attracted to you. You could use this in all sorts of sinister or pure ways, and you want to really embody a large portion of this. All right. And the card that we have for you is the King of Cups, which is definitely speaking of your energy and you being in a position to gain emotional maturity by being compassionate. It's important, Scorpio, that you hold space for people who might not necessarily be in the mood to be as mature as you when it comes to being patient or when it comes to understanding certain things intelligently. So definitely be patient, and the more you can counsel people and share this love, the better. Sagittarius, Sagittarius moon, Sagittarius rising. Venus is going to really revisit certain private elements of things in your life that is hard for you to accept, but also it's going to take these psychic connections and give you the ultimate understanding of how to really, connect through your own willingness to release the need to understand what it is you're even feeling. And that 12th house Scorpio energy will allow you to really embrace certain themes and ideas and beliefs that will shed negative habits. I think the best part of this transit for you, Sagittarius, is any insecurities that you have used to sabotage yourself, you're going to finally do well to release and not necessarily allow to even influence or affect you. The card we have for you, Sagittarius, regarding this is the Tower card. And the Tower card is speaking of, with this energy, because it's going to be in a place that you're not so aware of unless you have like a moon or Mercury there is going to be something that shakes up whatever relationship you're in. And it's going to have to do with any insecurities or doubt or trust issues that you have. In other words, Sagittarius, the Tower card is saying there's something that you're not addressing. There's something that you're suppressing and keeping in the closet. And that's just going to blow up on itself and release so that you can deal with it once and for all. Capricorn, Capricorn moon, Capricorn rising. Venus is going to really balance, but add so much grace to the connections that you have. And any differences of opinion you've had with certain friends, Venus will really give you an opportunity to consolidate greater intimacy and greater connections with. If anything, this pure psychic connections that you have will be with people in your soul tribe, but it's going to allow you to really gain a lot of beauty and gifts from people who add their value into your life, so that you can see who's really in your corner. All right. And we do have the Four of Pentacles. The 11th house, of course, has much to do with the house of gains. And a transit like this is going to bring you assured material gain. So, for those of you who've been definitely wanting an increase in income due to other factors in this transit, this is really going to bring that for you. All right. So that you could even save a lot more money. Aquarius moon, Aquarius rising. This is going to really challenge how well you can have faith and trust in your own influence, because there is a whole lot that you know that other people may take time to realize, and you have to really be on the front lines of how you take some of this unconventional ways of loving and actually show it publicly. And this is going to express itself in relationships you have with people that aren't really the most conventional, whether it's with someone way younger than you, or whether it's in a way that kind of is outside the norm. It could even be totally normal, but you're going to really have to think powerfully about what relationships you're ready to bring with you. 10th house transits like this are, well, I like my partner in the fourth house sense, but is she or he gonna embarrass me if I bring them out in public? You're gonna have to get rid of any insecurities about how you really love in a public setting. All right. But look to career objectives to be very much so achieved due to any ideas that you have creatively from your heart. And the card we have for you is the Four of Wands. So, this 10th house energy with Venus is going to give you a lot of luck and abundance with Jupiter, and you're going to celebrate very amazing accomplishments this transit. The Four of Wands is talking about you already have the victory, and you're going to really celebrate this victory. All right. And some reunions on a soulmate level are imminent. And Pisces moon, Pisces rising, Venus is going to inspire you with a transformed and ascended way to really look at love. So that, and it's outside of just love, you're going to be influenced by a greater philosophy of being so ingrainedly and deeply connected on a psychic level to where you fully live on that other life. And the less you say to someone, the more you're actually saying to someone, because anything that you're really going to say outwardly, you're converting emotionally and psychically, so you can be in a better position to embrace your magic as you are aware of the hidden spiritual realm that most other people except Sagittarius are blind to, and Aquarius who already knows, giving you this advantage. So be very mindful of ideas that are inspired by how you see people connect and the secrets that other people don't see that you see. All right. And the card that we have for you is the Page of Wands, which is saying you're going to be very excited. Whereas Virgo, and I feel, was it Cancer or Leo, or I think Cancer, who got the Page of Cups. This is going to be a message from someone or something that makes you very excited about the inner control and purity that you've developed, to where connections are more authentic and you're really able to connect in a more childlike and fun way with others. It's going to be very fun. The Page of Wands is always fun. So look to this transit to inspire you with a lot of excitement. So thank you very much, guys. We're now going to finish off this technique. For those of you who have cultivated the purple bubble and have felt these feelings, I now want you to envision a rainbow color coming down your chakras. Okay. And as you feel energy from the universe coming down from your crown to your root, envision rainbow light. And as this rainbow light occurs, you feel the aura getting stronger. Now, what's going to happen is this rainbow light is going to be the fuel for your aura. And now, as you charge your vessel, you want to do this technique anytime. KD, yes, I do. If you look at my readings, it's under the astrology reading, synastry reading, or report. But what you want to do is now, with your hands, funnel that purple light and feel a vertex going into your heart and higher heart. And what this will do is it'll take those charged feelings and charge it in your heart. And as you feel that rainbow, anything that the purple aura would have been, depleted, it's going to replenish. So you can do it constantly. All right. Of course, once again, as you charge this aura, practical application of this technique is to use this whenever you feel like your power is being messed with, whenever you feel such an insatiable desire to connect, whenever you feel that obsessive compulsive desire to express, you can use this to center yourself, because some of you may be feeling someone tug on your heartstrings. Some of you, when you stand and take back your power, the people who've been draining it are going to come. You're going to see them. And instead of giving them that power, you stand in your power. All right. What's going to happen is, for those of you who've been dealing with energetic vampires, instead of giving them that energy every night and morning, you're going to focus on yourself. The focus you've been giving them, you're going to focus on yourself, and they're going to feel that vibrationally, and they're going to come to get back what they've been taking. And instead of you giving it to them, you're still going to stand in your energy, and it's going to change the dynamics a lot. Whenever you feel a connection, it doesn't even have to do with taking energy. You could also send this to certain people who you care about, but not by projecting it to them. You're charging it into your heart. And since your hearts are connected, what you heal for yourself will also heal for them, so they could also be powered up as well. All right. Oops. Kevin Schrader, you need the peace session, because those will be coded questions for a live chat. So that being said, that's a technique you can use whenever you want. Once again, this is really more for those who kind of get how to use the imagination. Honestly, if this is just confusing to you, like if this is just kind of like woo woo and it's just use imagination, don't do it. There's so many different modalities. But for those of you who actually are initiated, you get it. This is going to hook you up. All right. The purple energy is going to protect you, and it's going to instill your vibration. And once you do it, just because of the breathing, you'll center yourself. Really take this with you, because this will put you in a state of ascended love, so that once you carry this into Venus and Sagittarius, you don't even have to do it anymore, because you've built this up through this transit. And trust me, you will see the light. So that being said, I'm now going to draw the super chat cards. Thank you for those of you who have donated. And yeah, stay blessed, everyone. This is the official end of this broadcast. And take that ascended love technique with you. Some of you can, of course, kind of do this recurringly, to where you just kind of constantly build energy. For those of you with master focus, all right. And you'd be surprised how some of you, yes, you can share this with those who are energetically sensitive. Thank you. It's a very powerful exercise. And a lot of you are more psychic than me. So it's going to be even more powerful when you do it. All right. So keep that in mind. And the first card we have is for Kim Goodman. Thank you very much for the donation. The card we have for you is the Emperor. There are very important steps being made to put order and control in your life. So really do honor the advice. Man's not hot. really honor the advice your soul is giving you, to focus a lot more and restrict certain temptations that distract you, because the order that is being implemented by certain figures too will put you on a greater path. All right. And just set up your structure. The Pratt Pack, the card that I have for you is the Queen of Pentacles. And the Queen of Pentacles is saying that you're really establishing greater wealth and value into what you're having. So you're going to come up with more creative ways to spend your money and to save your money. And just like this queen, you'll be balling with because you already have the money, but it's just you really knowing how to use it better through the help of this queen too. And it's going to be pimp. Queen Daisy, the card that I have for you, is the Ace of Wands. So this is saying that you literally have that spark to start what it is you want to do. You have this magical item that is already charged with magic, that you can already do spells with. All right. So know that you have the magic, you have the spark, and you want to take action now, because whatever happens to like this fire, you're going to take and run with it. Lilac Ocean Full 20. We have the Queen of Pentacles for you, which is also talking about consolidating your own financial reality in a way to where you're nurturing yourself a whole lot more. You may find a woman in your life who embodies this archetype. If it's not you, is going to really not teach you, because you know this yourself, but you're going to really focus more on bringing back and reflecting this wealth you have in ways that increase your quality of living. Taisha Davis, we have the Five of Wands, and the Five of Wands is talking about you having to go through conflict to gain greater understanding. So kind of look as an observer, but don't take too personal what occurs. It's going to be chaotic at first, but you're going to understand what you need to know. And you putting your input will shift and change the tides, because you'll be operating in truth. All right. Different functional. We have the Chariot. So the state of your twin flame connection is reaching victory. With the Chariot, we have the polarity between the dark and the light. So both of you are personally focusing on yourselves, so that as you achieve your personal victories, you're going to meet each other at the finish line, and you're very close. This is definitely, evolving. So you actually want to kind of congratulate yourself, because it took some time to get to this point. Introverted Dragon. The card that I have for you is the Ace of Cups. And the Ace of Cups is talking about new love, whether in the form of awakened intuition or an actual relationship that's birthing a new emotional situation that's going to really open up at a greater level how well you could connect. So this is going to be very powerful for you. Okay. And you definitely want to embrace it. Brianne Mendez, we have the Page of Cups. So similar to and it makes sense that we're getting these cups, because when Venus is in water signs, new emotional situations kind of develop after the work that has been done. So you yourself want to really embrace any new opportunities for love. It doesn't have to develop anything crazy, even if it's just whispering sweet nothings and puppy love for now, and just cultivate it as it is and be in a position to express your feelings when the time comes. Melanie Boyd, the card that I have is the Tower. So look for things to shake up so that you can gain a better foundation, and also be in a position to just expect the unexpected. This is actually going to shift stuff in your favor. You might find with the Tower, it just kind of, shakes you off from your stability, but you come into bliss because that was needed. You know what I'm saying? So just be prepared. And Suzanne Miley, We have the Lovers card. So yes, let D back in. There's greater passion to be experienced with this connection, and there's a surprise in store for you. All right. Astro Dim 7. Okay, now, where that twin flame at though? I don't think he is on Earth. Am I right? You are wrong. He is. In fact, your twin flame, not surprisingly, is going to give you the satisfaction that you've wanted. So it's important to know with the Nine of Cups, Astro Dim, you're going to get what you want out of this partner. It's going to be someone who makes you feel happy. If anything, it's who you've been wishing for. So just embrace the challenge of this, but definitely be in a position to start to tap into that satisfaction, because the Nine of Cups is saying if you feel that satisfaction now, it's going to really bring this into connection. Nancy Solorio, the card we have for you is the Page of Wands. Will my twin flame come before Saturn and Cap? The Page of Wands is a yes card, but it's not necessarily like the Ace of Wands. It's like, yes, it's just going to come. This is going to simultaneously occur with you building excitement about it, you being passionate. You have to really feel, yes, I'm about to meet my twin flame any moment now, because Saturn and Cap is any minute away, and that vibration is going to really allow this thing to really occur. So that's great news regardless. The Page of Wands is saying before Saturn and Cap, you're going to be feeling excited for a reason. All right. Only you can be you. The final outcome we have of your situation is the Five of Swords. And it is talking about defeat. It is talking about there just not being an eye to eye. And, some people may have to walk away just disappointed because it's just not going to be any, connection. And you might just have to deal with someone who's not as mature and wants to be stubborn, and it's their way or the highway. All right. Emily Long, the card that I have for you is the Page of Cups. And the Page of Cups is speaking of you being in a position to embrace any opportunities for new love that occur. And Scooby-Doo is right. Sometimes a defeat is a win because rejection is spirit's protection. Emily Long, the Page of Cups, is definitely indicating that you are safe opening up your heart to any new opportunities as you're ready for deeper love. To be or not to be, I'm thankful that you tune in. I'm very grateful for the support and the longevity. All right. We do have the Magician. So you really do have a lot of willpower and personal energy in your hands. The Magician is saying that everything that you need to do, you have the resources for. So it's going to go as far as you take it. As above, so below. Incorporate some spell work and believe in that magic, and you'll surprise yourself. Okay. KBS. I'm glad your wish came true. And the card that we have for you is the Fool. Congratulations. You are embarking on a new phase to where you can uncover greater abilities and truths about yourself. But this is really talking about an adventure of discovery. And you want to be open to any new open-minded people, as well as opportunities that are unexpected and unplanned. Just go with them. Okay. Stephanie Gwynn, the card that I have for you is the Four of Pentacles. So you want to hold on to what you have, because you're going to have some people that are going to ask you for financial assistance, and they're going to make it sound like they really need your help, but you can let them know you really don't have to help them. All right. And you really are not bothered with donating anything. So you're also going to gain a lot more money. And that's why this is going to come. The money you gain, keep it to yourself and just tell those people, I'm sorry, I can't help you. All right. The Chick P83, We have Four of Wands. The Four of Wands is saying prepare to celebrate your accomplishments even more than you may have already been doing. Okay, so congratulations. Um, the Healing Rose. We have Eight of Cups. It's saying walk away. Whatever you're walking away from, you may be able to revisit, but for now, you have more important things that need your focus and attention. So move on from this current situation and you'll move literally towards your heart's satisfaction. OJC Astrology, the card that we have for you is the Queen of Pentacles. So you're definitely going to work your Capricorn rising and make more important decisions that will raise a whole lot of your finances and your ability to make more. Take what you currently have and really invest in yourself, because the more you invest in yourself, the more you'll tap into that grounded queen nature energy. Ein F. We have the Seven of Swords. So you want to be mindful of maybe someone who might be deceptive with you, but also someone who might be keeping tabs from you from afar. If you've had any feelings someone was maybe kind of lurking you or checking up on you, that might be happening, but I get that you might be having to take some secretive countermeasures so that you can gain information. The Seven of Swords is saying be very careful with what you reveal, because not everyone that you're telling things to has your best interest at heart. Starlight Goddess, the card that I have for you is the Three of Wands. And the Three of Wands talking about the long-term plans that you're making are set to accomplish, and you're going to start to take action on these long-term plans. So really look 3 years into your future and map out where you're going to be at. See that very vividly and start to take that first action, and you're going to see the wheels turn. Okay. David Rosher. Will my stolen MacBook Pro ever be returned to me? The Knight of Pentacles is saying no. I don't think it's going to be returned, but it is promising that what you lost, you will get back. Of course, you're going to work on, you're going to get it back yourself, but this is pretty good, especially when theft is involved. It's like, yeah, it got stolen, but it's not really affecting me that much. You're going to be able to pick up slack, but unfortunately, no, it's not going to be returned. Knight and Page usually, Knight and King usually indicate no. Shamika Harris. Shamika Harris, we have the Emperor card. Similar to Kim, you're going to be in a position to where you can gain so much more authority in your life with the power you're going to take back with this transit. So really be in a position to embrace quite profoundly a whole lot of what has been put in order to gain a greater sense of organization and control. And you might have to deal with such a figure in a rigid way just so you can see from example. But you're already doing this, so it's just saying that work is going to pay off and you'll kind of reach this. Sharon Andrea. As far as your love life, we have the Page of Cups. So the Page of Cups is saying new emotions are set to be rebirthed. Even if it's with someone existing, you may find that the feelings start all over again. So you want to cultivate these newer feelings in your heart and be in a position to share them at the right time. But you yourself may get a message from someone who you've been wanting to hear from that will express this, okay, within this week as well. Or it's Thursday, so by Wednesday latest. Pantherina, what is Venus and Scorpio going to bring for you? The Four of Wands, the Venus and Scorpio could bring, this is like two people celebrating their marriage or wedding. So this is going to be great. Venus and Scorpio is going to bring you an exciting relationship because you are a Taurus ascendant. So this is going to be very powerful. And you're going to be in a position to really celebrate the connection that you share with someone. So congratulations. All right. Brittany Gibbs. The card that I have for you is the Justice card. And the Justice card, of course, is speaking about you being in a position to hold others accountable for the boundaries you placed. People's karma is going to catch up with them. And as long as you've been on the right side of karma, everything's going to flow really good for you. So the decisions you make, you want to really implement and indicate your own decision to be fair. Know that whatever you decide can be done to you. And are you okay with that? Quantum vibes. The vibe we have right now is the most vibiest of the vibers, the Queen of Cups. And you're going to be in a very profound position to feel into the vibes. You want to really cultivate this depth of heart. And I feel like this could be someone who already naturally feels that will help push you deeper into your heart by really being compassionate and understanding how you feel, and vice versa. Nyambi, when will I get my inheritance? Well, we got the inheritance card. The Four of Pentacles is the Sun in Capricorn card. So honestly, as soon as January, you can. But this is really more just talking about you for sure getting this. And once you've reached a greater place of financial stability to where you're definitely stable on your own, you'll find that this inheritance gets released. But as far as timing, we do have Capricorn. So wait until at least January as Saturn's there, and you'll definitely see this come to fruition. Love. Inheritance is more 10 of Pentacles, but therefore it's there too. Love Goddess. We have the Six of Cups. And it is saying that this season you'll have a soulmate encounter, and you're going to connect with a soulmate from your past life that the vibration will be familiar with. You might already know this person, so look to this encounter to really help establish this greater psychic connection. Ellen Faust, the card that we have for you is the Eight of Cups. The Eight of Cups is saying that you're very strong in the way you carry yourself and your energy, and you're finally ready to walk away from people who've done nothing but take from you. You have such a powerful heart. So you wanted to wait and heal, but now you realize it's time to walk away. So you're not missing anything, and you're only going to walk away to everything you deserve. So it will feel bad at first, but definitely know that you have a lot of to gain from this. All right. Sienna Chambliss, we have the Two of Wands. So really be in a position to embrace that you have a lot of potential that you are ready to enact. The world is in your hands, and you really want to, before you really make long-term plans, ask yourself, what are you ready to accomplish? What is the name you're ready to establish for your legacy? Because you're not limited to just one option. You can definitely do what it is you want. Okay. So Jay, I have the Ace of Cups. So this is talking about, so a brand new opportunity of love just coming right to you. And no matter how it looks, you want to take it. It's going to be very powerful. It's going to be positive, and this is going to really purify the emotions in your heart and amplify your psychic senses through the connection. All right. King John, the card that I have for you. This is saying the ting go pop, 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 and the pop, pop, brr, boom. Skip, skip, pop, pop, and the pop, 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 boom. Ski out. Ski out. Pop, 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 boom. A dum dum. The Four of Pentacles, of course, is talking about assured material gain, and whatever work you've been grinding to do is just going to give you more of what you've been wanting. Because it doesn't matter if man's not hot, you're going to be getting money in your pockets. All right. So whatever you're doing, keep on doing. You definitely got a lot more money that's coming through. All right. Sir Big Head, the card that I have for you is the Wheel of Fortune. And your karma is definitely changing for the better. No matter what's been going on, your luck is shifting to where you're going to gain fortune and you're going to gain a whole lot of abundance so that you can transition to do what you need to do. You may have the opportunity to squander this. So just know it's really more to take advantage of opportunities that will come and really embrace this and take certain risks because luck is on your side. Okay. Tiffany Lee, thank you for always showing support. I'm moving soon. How's this going to work out? The magician is saying it's going to work out exactly as you want. This is great. You just want to set an idea of how you want this to work out, and the willpower and actions you take to make this happen, everything's going to fall into place because of your own magic. Okay. So the more positive you think about this, the more your mind power and willpower and intent will bring this through. But this is talking about great success. So definitely awesome. All right. Mamacita's house. All right. We have the Ace of Wands. So the Ace of Wands is definitely encouraging a greater emphasis of passion that's ready to spring up in your life so that you could be in a better position to take advantage of very viral opportunities to gain more fire. And if you've been wanting passion, if you've been wanting excitement, it's going to ignite. You definitely have this spark. And once it sparks, take advantage of this and do as much as you can because it's going to be fun. Okay. And Brittany Morris, I am ready for my divine partner as well, whoever they are. We have the Six of Cups. This is saying that your divine partner is a soulmate, that if you haven't met yet, you are going to meet this transit. And there will be a feeling of familiarity if you've been wanting more information and understanding of this soulmate connection. That is what you're ready to get. So just embrace and be open to it. This is going to really highlight a connection of innocence. And this is how you know this is the person. And it's going to, of course, occur at its child phase before it matures. The card that I have for everybody watching, whether you donated or not, with this Venus and Scorpio, we have the Ace of Cups. So there is a new emotional situation for you. There is new love for everyone. For some of you, this isn't going to manifest in a new partner. This Ace of Cups is going to awaken in your heart that you're going to keep in your vibration so that you're in a greater position to really enjoy the experiences that occur. Okay. And finally, primary feathers. So for those of you who are single, you might not be single this transit. You're going to have the opportunity. What you should bring, primary feathers, is your A game. Make sure by your Saturn return, you have all your shit together. Because if you're not in this position, then you're going to be, completely taken asunder by things that try and catch you. So make sure all your responsibilities and priorities are met. I'm gonna have the same thing too. So the sooner you do it, the better, because it'll stabilize that. So once again, another card that I have is the Four of Wands for everyone. So this new love is going to develop, and then you're going to be in a position to actually enjoy and celebrate this. Okay. And you don't want to think romance. For some of you, this is just going to be an increased heightened intuition and connection to the divine that will still nonetheless, you know what I'm saying, be very powerful. All right. So regardless, thank you guys for tuning in. Really take advantage of this Venus and Scorpio transit to really purify the intent of love in your heart. Don't force yourself on somebody. Don't invade people's psychic space. Respect that, and everything you deserve will come to you because you stand in your own integrity and your value to know that you're sexy enough to just stand in your sexiness and allow the right people to form together. You stay blessed. Peace.